This opening plenary is about the Vision Board. Law firm managing partners talk on the next legal trends and challenges in 2030. For this discussion, may we please welcome with a huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, President Society of Indian Law Firms, Dr. Lalit Bhasin, with a huge round of applause. For the past 58 years, since 1962, he has held various prestigious positions, such as the President of the Bar Association of India, President of Society of Indian Law Firms, President of Indian Law Foundation.
My very dear, close, but young friend, Praveen, who is a pioneer in the field of intellectual property rights. I have seen him grow into the profession, of course, under the aegis of his revered father, Naval Anand, who is actually my colleague, age-wise and so far joining of the profession is concerned. It's a privilege always to have Mr. Praveen Anand in any seminar, convention, workshop, conference, congress, where intellectual property rights usually are the subject. I'm very grateful to Akriti Railada and of course her illustrious husband Vishal Sharma for organizing this 11th Congress 2022. I think it is a good beginning after COVID that we are having some physical event, because at least speaking for myself, I was never comfortable attending these Zoom meetings and Zoom conferences and all that, mainly because I'm not much familiar with the technology and all that is used. So for me, physical meetings are most welcome, and I think it's a timely step in the right direction that you have started, and please keep it up. You can have physical, you can have some hybrid, but eventually please go back to the meetings, because we as lawyers, whether litigation lawyers or in-house lawyers, the general counsel, we want to interact with each other. Our interaction is very limited when you see you are having a conference on Zoom. There is so much to share, so much information to share, so much of policies to be shared, that a physical meeting can never have any substitute. Thank you, Ruchi, for the gracious introduction. I also welcome all my young friends, practicing lawyers, general counsel, in-house counsel, ladies and gentlemen. The topic given to us is next legal trends and challenges in 2030. This is inextricably linked with what will India shape up in 2030. We can't discuss legal profession in isolation from whatever is happening in the country. And in this, I would like to share some thoughts with you regarding the policies, the future, the potential of India's growth, with which is linked, you see, the growth of the legal profession. India has shown a curious vitality toward the close of the 20th century. A remarkable series of events, that is liberalization of economy, the development of nuclear weapons, the forging of new diplomatic relationships, the embrace of globalization, appeared to herald a revolution. The renunciatory ideals of recent decades were being displaced, as the observers declared, by a more pragmatic worldview. But before long, the very same observers were expressing frustration at the signs of continued inwardness and apathy. From this uneven experience arose a question of some importance. Should we expect a rising India to behave as general powers do, as the great powers do, by concertedly developing its capabilities and advancing its national interests, or not? As its economic power, military strength and cultural influence expands, India is becoming an ever more important actor on the world stage. The course of world events is also deepening its significance. China's extraordinary rise has prompted discussion in the West about whether it can employ India as a counterweight. Consequently, there is growing interest in understanding India's world views. In particular, what do its decision makers consider the nature of international relations to be, and what role do they think India ought to play? Decisions to openly develop nuclear weapons, invite foreign investments, and forge strategic partnerships, especially with the United States and Israel, constituted notable departure from the previous ideological commitments. In this background, what will be India in 2030? I don't see much change happening in 7 years. Yes, changes may happen if we look towards 2047, when we complete 100 years of our independence. Same scenario would apply to the legal profession. Legal profession is dependent upon the economic growth of the country. It is inextricably linked with the economic powers. If the industry is thriving, legal profession will thrive. As we have seen during COVID, when there was not much of commercial and industrial activity, the legal profession was also like a silent spectator. Not much work coming to the law firms in terms of mergers or acquisitions or takeovers or joint venture agreements and all that. But nothing substantial was happening during that period. Therefore, what India will be in 2030 would be the shape of the legal profession also. Legal profession will be influenced by the developments in India. Will India be a big power? Will India be among 4 or 5 top economies of the world? The growth and prosperity of legal profession would be dependent on these factors. If Indian economy goes down, that would be detrimental to the legal profession, because it thrives when economy thrives. Question is, should India protect its markets or support free trade? There is a clear linkage between the economic growth and the legal profession. I see good prospects for the Indian economy. It is already among the top 5-6 economies in the world. And today I was reading in the newspaper that in terms of innovation, it has jumped up 6 steps from about 47th position to 40th position in terms of innovation. Now, if that continues to happen during the next 7 years, I think we as lawyers can look forward to a very healthy, steady growth in the legal profession. That will be the shape of things, in my view, in 2030. Not much substantial change, but there would be certain factors which may hinder, you see, the administration of justice. They are present now and they will be present 7 years hereafter. What are those factors? Those factors are the notorious laws delays. I don't see any hope, you see, for dispute resolution to be effective. Litigation has already been written off. Already written off. It is not the answer. Arbitration has failed to take off because we don't have good arbitral institutions which inspire confidence among the disputing parties. That is why Singapore is thriving, Paris is thriving, London is thriving, Dubai is up and coming. But in India, you don't see, except for one solitary good institution in Mumbai, Mumbai International Arbitration Center. There has been no growth in the institutional arbitration. It is ad hoc. And by ad hoc, what it implies? More expensive. Because it is monopolized by judges. Retired judges, whether Supreme Court or High Court, they look forward to arbitration matters and all that, and the type of fee that they charge, I think, make it more expensive than litigation also. So arbitration, in my view, unless the government takes some initiative or the chambers of commerce take some initiative of setting up good institutions of arbitration where there should be trained arbitrators, not just confined to judges and lawyers. There should be experts from other fields also, accountants, company secretaries, engineers, architects, retired bureaucrats, all they should be a part of it. So I don't see any immediate thing happening so far as arbitration is concerned, unless these two stakeholders, that is government, which is responsible for effective administration of justice, and the business community through the chambers of commerce takes up these initiatives. So what is the answer? Mediation. Mediation is the answer. And I firmly believe that a bad settlement is better than successful litigation. Therefore, try to inculcate that spirit, and that will be a part of the future of legal profession if we can have the matters, disputes resolved through the means of mediation by having expert mediators. Again, not just drawn from amongst the lawyers and judges, but from across the board. Everyone, expert. Construction dispute, a lawyer cannot be, you see, a mediator. It has to be some engineer, some expert in the field of construction who will do that. That is one area which will be like a handicap for the legal profession, and that problem will remain till 2030. Second issue which I think we will be concerned with, and which is gaining popularity in the global scene, lawyers particularly, is the climate change. This climate change is such an important element that things are already started happening. You have the untimely rains, the heat waves, heat strokes, rains, floods, everything happening now. Fires in the, you see, forests and all that, destroying the environment altogether. Therefore, like all other countries, India is taking a very active interest in trying to preserve the environment and ensure sustainable development. That is the most crucial part, and that is where the legal profession also has to play a very important and significant role, because we are the advisors to the business houses. We have to tell them regarding full compliance with the laws pertaining to sustainability and the environment. So that is one area. Another area which is of concern is we have too many laws, outdated laws, overlapping laws, and at the drop of the hat we bring in new laws. Every session of Parliament you will see more and more laws being brought into on the statute book. What does it imply? It implies more regulators. And having more regulator means what? Disputes. Good for lawyers, but bad for the country. So an attempt has to be made again where the government and the chambers of commerce have to take to rationalize the laws. Remove the obsolete laws of 1800 something or 1913 Companies Act, and all those things were there already there, Evidence Act and CRPC, CPC and all that. All those have to be rationalized. I'm not saying remove them from the statute book, but rationalize the laws, keeping in view what is the existing requirement, not what the requirement was in 1850 or 1867 and all that. Therefore, that is one area. Third area is, and it's a very pleasant feature which I was reading today, the role of the women in law. I don't know whether you people know, in the highest court of Australia, most of the judges will be women judges, right from next year onwards. So we need this sort of a gender sensitization where our women colleagues in the profession are given due recognition. That is one change I see it happening in 2030, which is very vital and important. Already steps are being taken. Now we have more lady judges in the Supreme Court. In the High Courts we have more lady judges. But we don't have many senior counsel from the lady lawyers, from amongst the lady lawyers. We do not have sufficient number of law officers, additional solicitor generals or solicitor generals, you see, from the ladies section. And it is not a question of gender sensitization. They bring a change in the mindset of people, because they don't look at law with the technicalities which are involved. They look more towards justice, how justice should be done. I can say with daring certainty, you see, that as men, we are like attuned to looking into the law and with all its technicalities. Whereas the preamble of our constitution says that we, the people of India, are giving to ourselves, you see, the justice, social, political and economic. But that word justice does not find mention anywhere else in the constitution, only law, 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 law. So there are too many laws here, as I said, but the introduction of our female judges, female lawyers, they bring in, by very nature of things, that element of justice which is at present missing. And I see that happening now, and hopefully by 2030 we'll have sufficient number of our lady colleagues as law officers on the bench, in the High Court, in the Supreme Court and everywhere. So this is what I see so far 2030 is concerned. Much is dependent upon how India will be in 2030, and that will set the goal for the legal profession. So I thank you, Legal Era and Akriti, for all your efforts, and I wish you all success. There are so many important sessions today which are being addressed by very, very eminent, our colleagues from the profession, practicing lawyers also, some senior counsel also, and the general counsel and in-house counsel. So I think we'll have a very, very fruitful discussion regarding the GENNEXT 2022. Thank you very much.